Bienvenidos una vez más a Puro Pinche Gol. This is the podcast where we discuss all things Liga MX y la selección mexicana. If this is your first time with us, I am one of your favorite tocayos. My name is Adrian, and your second favorite tocayo is here with me as well. Adrian, how's it going, dude?
Hey Adrian Tocayo, man, going well, man. Be even better with something we'll be discussing in the second half of this episode. Obviously, Liga news, but
Mhm.
I see you jumping ahead with your jersey, but we'll get to it. But doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing fine. I was able to be well, as we mentioned, I was in Monterrey for last week. I was able to go to the quarterfinals
Yeah,
between Tigres and Cholos in Monterrey. What an outstanding match! Uh, all things considered, definitely one of the best environments to enjoy Liga MX
for
in
sure.
in Mexico. Period. Right. Undisputed, perhaps number one in terms of environment. But I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be here. Lots of things that we got to cover, and yeah, it's always nice to be back, and it's always nice that it's not hot
Yeah,
this
it
time of
feels
the
good
year.
outside. Yeah, but
Yes.
what is hot? The news of the World Cup. As we know, Adrian,
Mhm.
we wanted to get ahead of this and make a video reaction after it happened. But between me having the marathon this weekend, you being in Monterrey, our schedules just didn't coordinate. But we still wanted to
Mhm.
get out our reactions to Mexico's group. So, Adrian, man, why don't we start it off and let us know who's in that group, dude?
Yeah. So I mean, the one thing that I want to address before we're actually going through the names of the teams within Mexico's group is what a boring ass uh, drawing show, whatever they want to call it, dude. I spent like an hour and a half watching that thing, and I was like, you know what, screw this, and just turn it off and just waiting until someone.
Dude, I
Uh,
think it was like 4 hours.
yeah, dude, it was super long. Like at least in Monterrey, where I guess in Mexico in general, they started transmission like around 9:30, and they
Yeah,
didn't
all the pre.
freaking
Yeah,
yeah, like they didn't do anything until like noon, 1 p.m. And so I mean, I only lasted for an hour and a half, and then said, you know what, I'm just gonna wait until someone tweets it or puts it on Instagram or somewhere else, or just I'm sure ESPN's gonna have like a live
yeah.
commentary that I can just follow. So I turned that thing off because it was ridiculous. Um, it was just it was what a what an S show, because I don't want to get our video downvoted or not promoted enough because of big words. But it was yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was a cluster.
it was a piece of S, if you know what I'm saying. But going to what actually matters here is Mexico's group, right?
Yeah.
Mexico, as we all know, was seated on pot one because it's the host country, meaning that it's going to be a cabeza de grupo no matter what, right? Which comes
Yep.
with its benefits. You and I had an episode where we discuss our potential group of death and group of life, which we'll make an assessment after we go through the names here. Um, but I want to start this with saying, like, I think all things considered, it's not too bad. Mexico has within its group South Africa, it has South Korea, and then it has the winner of the playoff D from UEFA. And that could be anywhere between North Macedonia, Denmark, the Czech Republic, and Republic of Ireland, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. Ireland, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Ireland, not Northern Ireland, just regular Ireland. Um, yeah, it's a. I agree with you, Adrian. A group that's going to be manageable for Mexico. 16 years after the inaugural match of the South African 2010 World Cup, where Mexico played South Africa after that Chavalala golazo against
Yeah.
Conejo Perez match where we saw Cuauhtemoc Blanco playing still. 16 years later, we're going to see the inaugural match of the 2026 World Cup being played now in Mexico against South Africa. So that's going to be
Bro,
special.
the memes were freaking fire for that specific situation. I don't know if you see any of them, but I saw one with Ricardo Lavolpe making like some weird ass face and just saying, it says the pana from South Africa noticing that we're being coached by the same stupid guy.
That's coach into. That's
Yeah,
hilarious. Nothing has
exactly.
changed. Oh my god, I didn't even realize that. It didn't click until now that yeah, it is the same coach.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen memes from that game. I've seen memes of how now we know which games are going to be played in Monterrey. You're going to be seeing las holandesas fuera del Oxxo, and las japonesas and all that hilarious memes, right?
Hmm.
But no, it's as far as things go, Adrian, fair group, manageable group,
Yeah.
a group you'd expect Mexico to top, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be as easy as many people think. I think it's a pretty even group. I don't think we got a really, really stand out Grupo de la Muerte or Grupo de Vida. Maybe USA got the Grupo de Vida. I think they got the fairest group out of all the three CONCACAF teams, hosts. But I think this is a manageable one. I saw memes already of people saying, I'm gonna pay thousands of dollars just to go see Mexico tie 1-1 with South Africa, uh, tie 1-1 with Korea, and then lose the Dinamarca. And I don't think that's gonna happen, but I do think it's gonna be a harder and tougher and really close matches than people think, especially since Mexico has had a very, very poor showing against teams the last 6 games. I think their only positive result was against Korea, no? Recently, I think
No, I
maybe
think that, well, they tied 2-2, if I'm not
tied.
mistaken. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, they
Mhm.
tied. I mean, it's been a while since the last time they play against well, not against an African team, because I think they played Nigeria not so long ago.
Yeah,
Um, but I think the only South African game that I can remember is that from back in 2010. I don't know if there's any other matches between Mexico and South Africa. But I'm right there with you. I think if we take a look at all the multiple possibilities that
yeah,
could have played out, this is not either a best case scenario or a very difficult worst case scenario.
yeah,
I believe I think we just have to be realistic with our expectations of Mexico, right? I feel like
sure.
everyone feels that Mexico should top this group, and no matter if it's Denmark or whoever the playoff the team from UEFA ends up being, everyone feels that Mexico should leave this group being the number one seeded team from Group A, which I don't really think there's a big um, probability of that happening, right? Even though, I mean, let's take aside all the FIFA rankings, right? Because FIFA ranking wise, Mexico is the best one in
Right.
this group, right? Um, but that's just FIFA rankings. They don't really take in consideration a lot of things, right? They don't really take in consideration the opposition, the level of the opposition that you face, right? And
Yeah.
in a World Cup cycle where Mexico didn't have any like actual
Competitive
uh,
matches.
yeah, competitive matches or even qualifiers, to say the least, I think is definitely skewed to Mexico's favor. But
Yeah.
I think all things considered, all of these teams, at least the ones that we know, are in a very similar spot where not the entirety of their roster plays in Europe. I believe some, specifically Mexico, but I'm not too sure with South Africa or South Korea. But they do have a mix of local players from the local leagues, and so they're all like around the same level, if you ask me.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how Mexico deals with an African team that definitely relies a lot on their physicality, and then how they fare against South Korea that they faced this year, and they struggled significantly, not only to match in pace but also to match in set pieces and even technique at some points in time. So I don't know, man. I think it's definitely a coin flip, if you ask me. I wouldn't be surprised if Mexico qualifies second or even third of the group, because as you know, on this World Cup, the eight best third places move on to the next stage,
Yeah.
um, and even I mean, I was doing some like research, and if I'm not mistaken, finishing first of their group, it isn't necessarily the best thing that Mexico can do, because if they manage to move into the 32nd best 32nd round and they move on to the best 16 round,
They have
they're
England.
yeah, exactly, they can potentially face England, and it gets um, progressively more difficult all the way to the final, which I think, if all things considered, they will be facing, I believe, Argentina in the final, but Spain on the semifinal, something
Yeah,
like.
if they win the group, they have a really hard. Honestly, I was doing the same research other end. If they get second place, I think in the round of 16 they play Argentina. I believe I need to check that, but it moves them around the bracket, and yeah, regardless if they get first or second, which Adrian, it's the World Cup. You're going to have to eventually face a good team to win it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It's going to
exactly.
happen in the round of 16 no matter what for La Selección Mexicana, assuming they get there. El quinto partido with an asterisk because it's not
Hmm.
really the quinto partido anymore,
No.
right? It's the sexto that we want to
Uh-huh.
get to. But
Exactly.
we'll see. We'll see. And we'll see if it pans out to what Djokovic, the tennis player, said. It was in Portugal Mexico finals, what he's predicting.
What? I mean, listen, my take here is I believe um there's something telling me, man, that we're gonna see one of the host countries in the semifinal. I hope it's not Canada. I really hope it's not Canada. But I think we're gonna see the USMNT or Mexico in the semifinal facing either Portugal or Argentina. And something is just telling me that someone's gonna make something where the final we're gonna have Portugal against Argentina. It's gonna be all over, Cristiano Ronaldo versus Messi. I think that's what the FIFA wants. I think that's what the USSF wants. I think everyone who's involved in here, that's what they want, right? Because that's what the American fans, not the. I'm not talking about the MLS fans, the diehard MLS fans or the diehard English Premier League fans or the
Sure.
diehard soccer fans in the United States would like to see. But that's something that
The
the
casuals
average, exactly.
that just watch
uh
every 4 years.
exactly. That's what they want to see because that's what all they know. It's like I want to see I want to see Ronaldo, I want to see Messi, and that's all they know, right? And so my God is telling me that that's going to happen. We're going to see Mexico facing against Messi or USMNT facing Cristiano Ronaldo at some point. Um, and then listen, I mean that makes a lot of sense because the third place will be Mexico against USMNT, and so that brings a lot of more people rather
Dude,
than
imagine that. That would imagine that those four semifinalists, how much money people would be making. Oh
exactly,
man, yeah,
exactly.
you're right.
So this is how I feel about it. I mean, this is just all speculation. This is what my guts tell me. But I could be completely and absolutely wrong in anything that I'm
I saw a
speculating.
meme that said, eh, like something like, si no vieron cómo FIFA se llevó a Corea del Sur a los semifinales, like in 2002, imagínate cómo se va a llevar a USMNT y Trump a los semifinales. It's like
It just makes
it
sense.
makes sense. I guess. I mean, we know Giannu or Gianni, whatever his name is, loves Trump. Can he push the USMNT to the semifinals like he did Korea? We'll see.
We'll see. But again, I think they want to see full, stadiums, full capacity stadiums with a lot of people. And tell me what you want, but there's only one. There's only a couple of things that they can actually pull that crowd, and one of them is Mexico in the United States. That's it.
England, Mexico,
Hmm.
United States during a World
Maybe
Cup,
maybe Brazil, Argentina.
Brazil, Argentina,
Mhm.
Portugal.
But other than that, I don't think Croatia can. I don't think even France can. I don't think not Uzbekistan, not freaking
I think France
no
can.
African
North
country.
Macedonia? You don't think North Macedonia can?
Hell no, dude. I really don't think any African team can pull that many people. And they'll be playing on freaking NFL stadiums, dude. That's like what 80,000,
Yeah,
90,000, 100K. You know.
You're gonna see Iran versus Egypt in Seattle, draw in like 20,000 people.
Exactly,
Yeah,
dude. And and especially with the prices that they're freaking,
it's
tagging to,
insane,
it's
insane, dude.
it's rubbish, dude. I was chatting with our friend G, and he sent me a like a flyer that the travel agency that he normally uses to go to the World Cup sent them, and it was something along the lines of there's three different tiers of tickets to see Mexico,
Mhm.
and I think the lowest one was it was 11 or 12K. The mid tier was 15 to 17K, and the top tier was like 20 to 25K. Um, and that's only for tickets, dude. Doesn't include any lodging or any flights or transportation in any way
But
whatsoever.
that was tickets for all three group games.
Yes, that's
Jeez.
insane, dude.
Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah. I wonder how
And
it
I was,
compares. We know G. Shout out to He. Has
mhm.
goes to all the World Cups every 4 years. So I wonder how it compares to his other experiences and other
Bro,
prices. Because I
he
know.
he told me that the lowest tier for this lowest the lowest package tier that he saw for this World Cup, it's pretty much how much him and his father spent for both of them for I think 4 games. lodging and travel, transportation, and everything when they went to Russia like
Oh,
8 years ago
yeah,
for two people. That makes sense for two people, but freaking three tickets for just three matches, no transportation and no lodging, 20K. Dude?
that's
Screw
insane.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
hmm I was
You're
also
watching
reading an
from home.
article because I think Colombia's playing in Houston if I'm not mistaken,
I
and I
think
was
so.
reading an article saying like the cheapest ticket is $5,000, dude. It's like, come on, man, come
Yeah,
on, it's
robbery.
insane.
Yeah,
It's insane. I hope that it happens the same way that the same thing that happened with the Cold War Cup, where when they launched the tickets, they were crazy expensive, not
and
as
then they just
expensive
dip.
as the World Cup, right? But
Yeah,
they just dipped like a week or two before the actual tournament. So I hope that's the case because again, I don't see a lot of people freaking going to a Uzbekistan whatever team they play in.
I know we're getting off topic, but if Uzbekistan plays, I don't know, like in North Macedonia or something, right? Even if they dip the prices and they drop, would you go to that
I guess listen, if I was living in Houston and it was happening in Houston and I didn't have anything else to do, sure,
just to
I'll
say you
go.
went to a World Cup game?
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty much.
okay.
Because I mean, in Monterrey, they took away the Netherlands games from Monterrey. You know that. Almost, I don't think there's very little European teams playing in Mexico because of the scheduling.
I saw that Netherlands was now going to play in Houston, but I didn't know, or Dallas or one of those. Is that what they did?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
They
Yeah.
the vast majority of the European teams are playing in the States because of
Travel.
schedule reasons. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but for example, in Monterrey, I think you're going to see South Africa against South Korea, and then you also have, I think, Tunisia against Japan, and Japan against what was the other team there? Japan's against it's Netherlands, Japan, Tunisia, someone else. I don't know who is, but I think the two of the Japan games are playing in Monterrey. Um, I mean,
So all the otakus in Monterrey are going to be in heaven.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. But again, I mean, how many people would like to see, a South Korea? Well, I guess makes sense that Korea is playing in Monterrey, given that there's
A
Pes
lot of
Korea.
Koreans. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Koreans in Monterrey, so that makes sense. But for the other teams that are not necessarily or have a huge community in Monterrey, I wonder if El Gigante de Acero is gonna get packed. It's 50,000 people, man.
I think so.
Um,
I think so. Even for those games, I think Monterrey fans will show up, even to watch the other Monterrey locals will show up, um, just for the experience.
I
Well,
would. Yeah.
it's expensive though. We acknowledge that.
It's freaking
So
crazy expensive.
yeah,
So we'll see if we ended up going to one game and maybe we'll go out there and make some videos. We'll know. We'll see. We'll talk about
yeah.
it. But as of right now, ain't no way.
Help us get
Ain't
to
no.
that 20,000 subscribers so we can afford it.
Yes, sir. So please subscribe, hit the like
Yeah,
button, and turn on the notifications. But yeah, man. I mean, I think all things considered, looking at all the groups, maybe it could be classified as the runner up for the group of death. All things considered, maybe if you have Denmark here
just
because
because
of
of how
the
even it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I think that's not because you have three or all teams being freaking top tier, which is kind of difficult. But all of them are pretty close to each other in terms of the capacity and expectations that we have for all of them, right?
yeah.
Um, so I think we got to be careful here. I don't want to overhype Mexico. I don't want to sell some lies to the fans out here. And I know that I know some of our PPG fans or PPG fam aren't necessarily super
Hopeful.
I don't yeah hopeful of Mexico. They're probably are tired of being deceived by this national team.
Okay.
But let's let's play a chill guy. Let's play remain calm, and just state the facts. It's gonna be a tough group for Mexico. I think El Tuca said that Mexico ain't gonna win no game,
Yeah,
um,
on
which I don't
ESPN.
agree with him. I think Mexico would definitely have a W here, but it's gonna be a very difficult W, right? I think if Mexico moves on, either seeded two or seeded one, it's gonna be down to a goal difference or a
Yeah,
fair play difference, something along those lines. It's not gonna be easy, man.
I agree. we'll
Alrighty,
as
and
we proceed closer to 2026 and the World Cup, we'll be doing more coverage, obviously, as the World Cup. So stick it here. We'll definitely probably do a video, Adrian, maybe as we get closer, of the possible routes for Mexico, right?
yes,
Yeah. So
yes, sir. So as we said right now, I mean, all of this is just all speculation, right? But definitely finishing first on the group is not the easiest path for
yeah.
Mexico. So maybe we consider another route. We'll know. We'll
Yep.
see. We'll make more videos on it, and of course, we're gonna follow up Mexico. There's a couple of, I think there's maybe one or two more matches coming up next year before the World Cup. So stay tuned as we continue to follow Mexico on this 2026 World Cup path. But moving on to maybe more important things right now, dude. Um, at least for me, which I'm a Liga MX lover, we are now in the pretty much last game of the season. Apertura 2025 is coming to an end. We
Hmm.
had very entertaining semifinals, if you ask me, man. Very, very close ones. We had Cruz Azul against Tigres, and then
Yep.
Monterrey versus Toluca. Both of them great matches. All four teams showing why they are the top four of this tournament. And I think before we dabble into a little more of what happened on these two semifinals, I think the finalists Tigres and Toluca are well deserved finalists of this Apertura 2025, right?
Absolutely, Adrian. Well deserved. I think the two best teams in Liga have advanced. Not necessarily the, and I guess in the regular league, right? It's 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's 1 and 2. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. So now it's been a great Liga, Adrian. If
Hmm.
you're casual watching this Liga, you picked a great one to watch. Honestly,
Definitely.
we've had hashtag Liga MX moments, but we've also had great Liga MX moments, meme worthy moments, and fantastic football moments. And man, it just these four matches, ida y vuelta matches, really just came down to the wire. Adrian.
Hmm.
We saw great goalkeeping performances, which we'll get into. We saw old guys rolling back the years. We
Yes.
saw, man, we saw everything, and I'm ready to get into it, man.
Alrighty, so let's get started here with Monterrey against Toluca. The first match ended 1-0 with a win from Monterrey, and then on the second leg we had a 3-2, a very close end of that match, 3-2 with Toluca topping Monterrey, and then on an aggregate of a 3-3, Toluca moving on due to their ranking on the regular season, which was number one seeded team of the
Yeah,
regular season. So I mean, I listen. Of course, we saw Toluca score 3 goals on the second match, right? But I think
yeah.
that's mainly because of the way Monterrey played that game, not necessarily because of Toluca, you know, recovering their accuracy and just being certeros whenever
Yeah, because they
they.
hadn't scored in like 300 minutes since the first half against Bravos in the first leg.
Exactly. So it's been, it took him a lot of minutes, and I think it was more of a Monterrey's lack of, you know, defensive strength rather than Toluca being the dominant Toluca that we saw on the offensive throughout the regular season here. We just saw, dude, the last game of Sergio Ramos in Liga
Yeah,
MX apparently saw, which listen, I'm not gonna say that I'm happy that he's leaving. I honestly couldn't care less. Of course, I'm a Tigres fan, so I have a lot of bias towards this. And all of my friends say like, "Well, you're saying this because you're a Tigres fan." Sure, whatever you want to call it, right? But I think Sergio Ramos didn't have a positive impact on Monterrey. Like, he just didn't help in any way whatsoever. He wasn't available for last Liguilla. He didn't really appear in this Liguilla either, right? And so to me, it's good riddance. I think my Monterrey friends should be happy that this guy is leaving because one, he's not gonna be a burden no more on the budget, and
yeah,
two, you didn't win anything with him. Like it didn't make the defense your defense better in any way whatsoever. You just
yeah.
didn't.
No, I agree. He was just really brought up for a name for the World Cup, the Club World Cup, right?
Exactly.
And yeah, they're going to be getting rid of a huge budget. I guess strain on the budget, and I think it's gonna help Monterrey maybe revitalize that defense now that they're getting rid of him. But to bring back to your point, Adrian, of Toluca not really, it wasn't more Toluca finding their goal scoring form as much as it was Monterrey's defense collapsing. The first half, it's odd because we saw Dominic Torrent come out with a five in the back.
Yeah, dude.
So this was a matchup where they just gave up possession completely to Toluca. They were like, we're going to
Hmm.
hold the line,
Hmm.
which was such an odd thing to do given you were only up by what it was 1-0, right? And
It was 1-0.
the only reason you were up was because Cardenas saved your ass the whole first game. Otherwise, it would have been 3-1 the first game, the first leg in Monterrey. So, yeah, Toluca completely dominated the first half of the second game. Monterrey coming back, making it very, very close, very, very nervy minutes. But Sergio Ramos disappeared or wasn't relevant. Sergio Canales was closed down completely both
Hmm.
games. We saw what's his name. I didn't see much from Oliver Torres.
Hmm.
The other Argentine that got injured on his scooter, what's his
Lucas
name?
Ocampos.
Ocampos, yeah, that came in, that, really couldn't do anything. I found it hilarious. He was like, I can't throw this ball in. He had to
I
switch
know, I
somebody.
saw that. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, Berte, who's had a good Liguilla also. I mean, it didn't work out for Monterrey, which is honestly, Adrian, two things. I know you said this on your on our PPG, our sister channel, Puro Pinche Gol MX with Claudio. I'll echo it with you. I did not want to see a final regia.
No.
I'll call me a wuss. I was afraid we were going to lose at home, but uh, Rayados, they just didn't. We said it. If they click, they could be the best team in the league easy.
Mhm.
They just didn't click this both games. I would say because they were even though they won the first game, they were completely outplayed by Toluca in both
Yeah,
games.
and to add to that specific thing of Monterrey not clicking on these two matches, I also think that the fact that they have a very short squad compared to other
Yeah,
sites in Liga MX, to Dominic's to Torrent's fault, honestly, because he's the one who wanted a shorter squad because he says that he works better with a shorter squad. So that's one thing. And then on top of that, I mean, even if you look at the bench, Monterrey has only one starting 11 side, and that's it. If you look at the bench, they don't have a lot of options that can come in and save your ass if you're in a pinch. And so if you go to Toluca and you go guns blazing, I guess I'm trying to make sense of what Dominic Torrent was trying to do.
yeah,
My take is he understood that he doesn't have a lot of depth because it's his own fault, right? And I believe that he felt that if he showed up guns blazing in Toluca with the altitude, right, um,
yeah,
play at a higher ground in Toluca, and understanding that you only have maybe one or two subs that can actually come in and help you, right? You would have They would have been done by the 30th minute in Toluca. I mean, they would have been just completely depleted in terms of stamina, right? Most of their players. I mean, if you look at Canales, he was pretty much on his last breath
yeah,
on the last minutes in the game, and so I think that he figured he could hold the line, but he wasn't able to hold the line throughout the regular season. Dude. That's the thing too. It's like he tried to do something that he wasn't ready to do. Like he proved throughout the regular season that he's not a defensive coach,
yeah,
and every single time he played with a back line of five, he always came down with the worst scenario possible. Right, that happened throughout any of the freaking match weeks that you name it, where they had three center backs, and it just didn't work. I don't know why he decided. Well, I I guess I know why he decided to do this, but the second half proved that if you attack Toluca, if you put pressure on Toluca,
yeah,
they're gonna
yeah,
crumble. Hmm.
yeah,
They're gonna crumble, and maybe he should have just uh, made like some little dosages of, all right, I'm gonna pressure high for the first 10 minutes and then sit back 30, then pressure 10 again. I don't know, something just different. And the biggest takeaway for me here as a Tigres fan is that Monterrey proved what is the key to unlock Toluca, and that's it. That is attack them,
yeah,
face them the same way they're gonna try to score goals against you, and just hope that your defense is slightly better than theirs that night. Which I think Tigres should be paying attention to it. Um, but other than that, I think after these semifinals and even on the second leg against Juarez, I feel slightly more confident that Tigres has a better chance
This
of
Toluca's
becoming.
beatable.
Yeah, exactly. This semifinal proved that Toluca is definitely beatable, and without Alexis Vega, they have a lot to lose. And so I think this specific scenario is now Tigres has have to do their job, right? It's gonna be down to Tigres to determine if they want to be champions or not. But I want to get I want to get I don't want to get ahead of myself because we want to we're gonna chat a little bit about the final in the next minutes. But let's move on to the second semifinal here, man, which
Yeah.
is Tigres against Cruz Azul. Both ties, both 1-1. I don't know how you feel about this, but I think there wasn't a clear dominant team on this semifinal. I think definitely the closest one out of the two. Um, you know, on the first leg of this semifinal, I felt that Tigres didn't play that well to me from my
Hmm.
perspective. But then discussing it with a couple of my friends from Monterrey, um, they one of them told me something very interesting, and I said, you know what, that makes sense. And he said, hey man, Guido Pizarro focused on pretty much neutralizing Cruz Azul. And
Yeah.
when I let that sink in, I was like, you know what, he did, he pretty much said, you know what, I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna play a very low block. I'm gonna try to neutralize Cruz Azul as much as I can. And if I have a breakthrough, I'm gonna take advantage of it. And that's what happened on the first leg. And similarly on the second leg, Cruz Azul, the very first few minutes was all over Tigres' goal. And then when Tigres had a chance with Andrea Perignac having you know, a moment of inspiration, doing
Yeah.
the back heel assist to
Rolling back the
Brunet,
years.
yeah, to
Brunetta.
Bruneta, Tigres scored, and then after that, they just calmly remained,
Controlled the ball.
yeah, under control. And I think that's what happened on both matches. Um, yeah, I firmly believe that's what Guido Pizarro set out to do, and it worked out. Thankfully for him, because it was looking dire on the last 10 minutes of the second half after that own goal. If you ask me.
Yeah. Man, I'll admit it. We've been critical of Guido Pizarro,
Mhm.
especially at the start
Mhm.
of the season.
Yes.
Questioning, is he the man for the job? Questioning, is he just the player's friend, or is he really, respected coach? He got Tigres to the final, and yes, it was 1-1 both legs. Yes, I think I think game one was closer. I think game two, like you said, after you talked with your friend, I think was really controlled and dominated by Tigres. I don't remember really an opportunity for Cruz Azul. I may
No.
be thinking wrong, but other than that, and it was an own goal. The one goal they got was an own goal. So I think it was a really mature performance by Tigres. The second leg, controlling that win. It did get nervy there at the end, just like the Monterrey game, but never really in doubt. I don't think. Um, and yeah, man, I think it's just the old guard for Tigres coming through again, with the sprinkles there of Clito Correa, with Diego
Nahuel
Lainez.
Guzmán.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody came in and did their job between younger folks, older folks. And yeah, just a well rounded two games where Cruz Azul, yeah, just didn't scare Tigres, and I think
No,
this is gonna
not at
give them
all.
confidence going into Toluca.
I agree. I think Cruz Azul definitely is the biggest disappointment in this liguilla. I think we said that León was the biggest disappointment of the regular season, no matter what. But I think in this liguilla, all things considered, because even against Guadalajara, Cruz Azul wasn't necessarily
Yeah,
extremely dominant in any way.
yeah.
And on these two last matches, I wonder if they were just too worried about, or they had their head all the way in Qatar because they're going to be playing the
Yeah,
Intercontinental Cup against Flamengo. Um,
thank
but
God
yeah,
we didn't have
I
to wait till this Christmas to see the final.
exactly. So maybe they were banking on that. But yeah, I'm looking at the statistics and both matches. I mean, if you look at only the numbers, you can say that
You would think
Cruz Azul
Cruz
was
Azul
dominant.
dominated. Yeah,
Yeah, they have way more shots, both on
possession and
attempts
everything.
and on target, like almost double from Tigres. But again, I 100% agree with you. And maybe people I'm gonna say that I'm biased because I support Tigres, but it is what it is, man. I don't really think that Cruz Azul was necessarily 100% the best team on the pitch just because of numbers. This is
Yeah.
one of those times where I'm not a stat merchant, and I don't listen to the big data. And of course, it's whenever Tigres is playing. I'll accept that, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think this proved that Guido Pizarro deserves the benefit of the doubt. I was, and I'm still a very, as I call myself, a very educated critic of Guido Pizarro. But I think he definitely deserves the benefit of the doubt to at least coach one more year for me. Regardless if he wins the cup or no. If he wins the cup, yes, 100% he deserves to get another year. If he doesn't win it, I think he still deserves it, but with more scrutiny, if you ask me. Winning this championship will give him the freedom to do whatever he wants in the next year, no questions asked. But if he doesn't win it, then definitely a little more scrutiny needs is needed in
Yeah.
Tigres. But listen, um, this is another reason why sometimes I don't like liguillas because the first and the second are on the final, which which makes sense. But
Yeah.
I think this Liguilla, specifically Apertura 2025, has been great, all things
It has.
considered. And moving on to the final, we have Toluca and Tigres, first and the second, the two best offensives, and I think the two best defenses as well.
And I would
Uh,
even strive to say, even though this might hurt people, I think the two best aficionados, especially this season.
I'm not gonna say no. I am
Yeah.
not. I am not gonna pose that thought in any way whatsoever. But I know that people from Monterrey are gonna get somewhat butt hurt. People from Rayados specifically are gonna get
Yeah.
butt hurt. And then of course, I mean the small teams like Pachuca, Necaxa, and Querétaro, and all those, and all of their three fans, they can probably get offended as well as well. But who cares? Um, but yeah, we have the two best teams of the regular season facing off on the final, man. Tigres, it's the first leg happens in San Nicolas de los Garza in
Hmm.
Monterrey, with Tigres hosting Toluca on
On
Thursday,
Thursday.
December 11th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. The second leg happens in Estado de Mexico Sunday, December 14th, 7 p.m. I'm happy that Cruz Azul didn't move on, of course, not only because Tigres gets to move on, but we don't have to wait until
Yeah.
after Christmas or Christmas Day to see Liga MX last match of the season. Um,
Let's
how do
hope
you?
we go into Sunday with a 3-0 lead and can be chill on Sunday with a carnita asada and just lift the cup.
That would be great. That would be
Yeah.
outstanding, but that wouldn't be Tigres if that was the
Yeah, that
case.
would not be Tigres. No.
um, I was going to ask you, how do you feel going into this final as a Tigres fan?
I feel better than knowing that we're not playing Monterrey, just because
Yes.
that would have been a very stressful weekend.
Hmm.
Obviously, we want to win this. We want to win the trophy. It's going to be a hard fought battle against a very difficult team. Antonio
Hmm.
Mohamed knows Tigres, as looking for the bicampeonato. We have to close in Toluca, but I feel more confident in Guido Pizarro than I ever have. I feel confident in this team. I think Pizarro is making appropriate tweaks to the lineup, to the team when necessary.
Hmm.
Oftentimes moving Gignac to playing kind of left behind the striker. Often we saw him play in the second leg as the sole number 9 forward. We see all these tweaks. Sometimes Brunegol is showing up. Hasn't had that effect of Sebastian Cordova did back in that amazing Liga he had a couple years ago, but he's finally getting goals this Liga, Brunetta. And I think the team's clicking at a right time. Do I think Tigres can be champions? I do. But I repeat what you say, Adrian. It's nos van a hacer sufrir like they always do
Yeah.
to get to
Exactly.
that
And
point.
it wouldn't be Tigres if it was otherwise.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you, man. I'm not gonna say I'm happy to not have Final Regia because, of course, I always want the Regio teams to be center stage of Liga MX, no matter if I'm a Tigres fan or not. But I am relieved. That is a word for me. I am relieved
that's a good
that
word. That's a good word. Yeah,
it's not a Final Regia because I 100% agree with you. I think Toluca is definitely a more beatable team for Tigres, just because of the reason I'm having the added pressure of
yeah,
being a clásico, right, or being a
yeah.
clásico
Mhm,
regio,
mhm.
and essentially not showing up as the favorite to win it. That's the one
Yeah.
thing. And the second thing is, even though I feel slightly more confident about Guido Pizarro, this Guido Pizarro side has not proven to me that they are capable of not crumbling under pressure on the big games. And I go back to the last Liguilla where they got kicked out during the semifinals, and
Mhm.
then also getting kicked out on this, if I believe, on the semifinals or quarterfinals of CONCACAF Champions Cup last year as well. Um,
Who they lose
so
to the semifinals last year? Was it America?
I think it was America, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was America. Because of those two reasons, I don't think this Guido side is ready for a stage as critical as a Clásico Regio on la final de la Liga MX, and that's why I told Claudio, as you mentioned on our sister channel, that it was I hope that it didn't happen, and a bunch of people, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, called me Amidoso, and they also said if I was Indian, whatever.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
saw
the
that
first
one.
time that it happened, and it's gonna continue to happen. But it was just hilarious. Listen, I was not scared. It's just that I see it, and I feel certain that Tigres was just not ready for a
That big
um,
stage pressure.
yeah, exactly, for a final regia. So I'm relieved that it's not happening, and I'm happy to see Tigres facing Toluca, and I hope that they lift up the cup. I hope that your predictions are uh, become true, meaning that Tigres wins comfortably on the first leg, and then just locks down the second
Yeah.
leg with a very tight low block, and wins it as Tigres always do, with a lot of drama and last minute big things happening. um, I don't know if I should say. I don't want to jinx it, dude. You know how I am. I don't want to
Neither
jinx
do
it. I don't
I.
want
I'm
to
not gonna get a prediction. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna be quiet. I'm not jinxing anything.
exactly. Same
Yeah.
here. I don't want to give a prediction. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to say anything. I hope that Tigres wins. Um, but uh, it's definitely gonna be a
It's gonna be a good one.
difficult,
Good
yeah, pretty
series.
good one, difficult match.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I think it's gonna come down to who is the best, or who is capable of defending the best on both matches. Because these are the both the best offensives of the league, um, and it's
And
definitely the
defense.
best offensive versus the best defense.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll see who manages to be on their A game that
For
night. So
both games. Yeah.
yeah, but this is it, man. This is another episode of Puro Pinche Gol. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for staying with us uh, throughout these 40 something minutes. I want to please exhort you to follow us, to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast on. Last but not least, you can also find us on Instagram and TikTok. We post memes, latest news, and short of our episodes. Man, I am excited for what's to come with Liga MX. Also, a little bummed that it's coming to an end. But hey, I think it's definitely a well deserved
Yeah.
final for
Final.
all
It's
Liga
gonna be a
MX
good one.
fans. Mhm.
Yeah, and let us know before we wrap up here in the comments below. Who do you got for this final? Who do you got winning? What are you most excited to see? Do you think André Gignac retires after this final if he lifts the cup? Are you wanting Toluca to win, Tigres to win? Let us know. We like interacting with you guys there in the comments. And yeah, um, we'll see. And also let us know, comment about Mexico. Do you
Yep.
think Mexico's group is fair? How do you think Mexico's going to get out of that group? First or second? Do they get out of the group? Are you excited? What are your thoughts on the crazy, crazy ticket prices? Let us know. Like I said, we like interacting with you guys there in the comments. But yeah, it's been a good one, man.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Take it easy.
See you, brother.
Deuce.